everybody. In this video I like to talk to you guys about one of the cars that we have here available for sale. And of course, as you can see, it is the legendary, one of the most iconic cars that has ever been manufactured by Japanese car manufacturer Nissan. Skyline GTR R34 VSPEC to NUR. So let's first take a look at the car ins and outs. Now I'll be telling you a little bit about the car, about its history and everything else. And at the end, if you are interested in the car, you are more than welcome to hit me up in my contacts below this video, and I'll be more than happy to hook you up with the car if you are in the market for one. So check out the video, everybody. So basically I'm trying to move a car to the corner side of a shop because I put the car in the middle of the shop's entrance gate, and people are coming and out, and cars are coming in and out, and I'm blocking apparently everyone and the cars as well. So I'm trying to move a car to the corner and put it here so that I could talk to you guys properly without causing any inconvenience for our staff here try to do their job at the shop. As you guys can see from the basic snapshot video of the car, this is very much stock and genuine condition Nissan Skyline GTR 34, very limited edition VSPEC to NUR. Talking about VSPEC to NURs, Nissan, as the last model production of GTR 34s, decided to manufacture 1,000 very limited high spec R34 GTRs, and those were of course VSPEC 2 NURs and M-spec NURs. 75% out of this 1,000 were VSPEC 2 NURs, and 25%, or in other words 250 of them, were M-spec NURs for the GTR 34 the cars. Of course, VSPEC 2 NUR and M-spec, they are the highest limited edition, I mean the highest spec GTR 34 that you can get out from the market, and apparently and accordingly as well, they are the most expensive ones that are out there available for sale, if we don't consider the Z-Tunes and other ones. Of course, Z-Tune is very much limited as well because it has only 18 of them were manufactured, but it's a different topic. We just recently purchased this car from one of our collective, very wealthy individual with more than 10 cars. He is a boss of a big company, and of course he's got a lot of his own fleet that he actually collects cars, and we end up purchasing this car from him at a good price. And the car is exceptionally well maintained. It is accident free, it is dent free, it does not have any sign of a rust, which actually comes to the quality, which is it is investment grade. And car being only 17,173 right now, as you guys could see from the video as well, as you can understand, it hasn't run much at all since the car was manufactured in 2002. What it makes it is actually what now, 2019, so 17-year-old car, and it is run only 70,000 kilometers. So basically maybe 1,000 kilometers a year the car has run, which is nothing if you think about it. That's equal to less than maybe 9,000 miles. And if you are watching this video from the United States, as most of our viewers are watching right now, in this video I'd like to show you a little bit about more about the car itself, right? So right now I'll be actually popping up the hood. We will take a look closer in the engine compartment, and I like to tell you a little bit about the engine compartment itself and what I actually pay attention when I purchase the cars personally as a Nissan Skyline GTR specialist here at the shop. And I'll also show you a little bit about the underbody of the car, and at the end I come back and sit here again and we'll talk a little bit further about the car that is actually available for sale here at our shop in Japan. And just to point out, everybody, cars like this is very much limited, very limited. This is Bayside blue color GTR 34, and one of the most wanted color GTR 34s, and of course in NURs, as I said, out of 250 NURs were made, 119 of them were Bayside blue color, corresponding to the demand for this particular color VSPEC to NURs that were that is in the market. And out of this 119, this is actually one of them, and this is exceptionally clean. I have seen VSPEC to NURs that has been super rusted as well. People didn't take care of them. I guess some rich kids didn't just, I guess, give the the love and care the car deserves, right? And I have seen the ones that were crashed, so I'm sure a lot of them are been gone, and I'm sure some of people who have them actually do not want to sell them. So the car right now is very limited. Even in Japan, maybe 2 of them for sale or so at the most. But yeah, let's first take a look at the car, the engine compartment, underbody as well, and at the end I'll give you a little further information and the pricing info of the car as well that is at the moment available for sale. Let's take a closer look at the engine compartment, and as you guys can see, engine compartment is very much stock, and nothing of an upgrade on the car. Investment grade cars, actually, as I say that many times on my videos, has to be complete rust free and accident free, and this car definitely corresponds to that. And another important factor that we as a shop consider when we are looking at the cars as an investment grade car, it has to be relatively stock. Stock cars actually tend to go up in value much more compared to, of course, modified cars. As you guys can see from this engine compartment, the car is very clean. There is nothing of a rust. And when we are, and particularly when I am looking at R34 GTRs, I like to pay attention to the start towers around this part area as well, because in GTR 34s, if the car was kept in a place where it is easy to prone a rust starts coming from this part right here, and under this part as well. Another very important factor that you want to pay attention is the engine cover plate right over there, and this one is also very easy to catch a rust, and if the car was again not maintained or kept in a proper place, that part also gets quite rusty. Now I have seen a number of cars that has quite rusty the engine cover plate over there, so as here as well, but this car is very much clean, as you guys can see from this video, and very much well maintained, and it's a complete stock engine compartment itself as well. Just to show you guys the chassis number of the car, you guys can see from that plate. If you guys are one of those guys who would like to track up everything, and you are more than welcome to track that car as well through that chassis plate. As you guys can see, this part is open, a garage defend, the manufacturer's special cooling panels, and actually covering this part with the cooling panel, of course, carbon fiber cooling panel, just like the ones that we designed. It's gonna make the car look so much more sexier and lovely, and it can be easily taken off as well if you don't want to put it, or if you want to keep it stock and stuff like that. But anyways, this is very much about the engine compartment of the car. As you guys can see, very clean, and exceptionally well maintained, I would say. This part as well sometimes gets a little bit like the carbon part here gets kind of cracky and stuff like that over time on GTR 34s, but again, as you guys can see through this GTR 34, this one is also very clean yet. Ages itself. Now let's take a look at the underbody of the car. Here we can see that underbody of the car is also very clean. Of course, it seems like those things are a little bit of what is it? If you look, notice here, is it a dirt or? Yeah, it's a little bit dirt. Nothing of a rust or anything like that, it seems to me. Another thing to point out, everybody, GTR standard model GTR 34s did not come with a diffuser like this, and VSPEC models came of course with that, and of course upgrade to VSPEC 2 and NUR edition also came exactly with that. You can see from the corner as well what is actually in the middle, but again, it's carbon made. From the back side you can see exhaust system of the car. Not much we can see through this part of the car's underbody, but here through that hole we can see what is up there. Seems clean to me, no problem. Okay, here's the other part, very much clean underbody of the car. Here we go as well. The wheels are also very much stock, very clean. Rotors are also very clean. It's easy to catch rust over time, but again, it's a very clean addition as well. Wheels, most people end up actually installing aftermarket wheels, but this car, as you guys can see, has got its own original factory genuine wheels on it as well. So that's the rainbow brakes and everything else. Here is the car, VSPEC 2 NUR. It is the ultimate car and dream of most sports car enthusiasts, I tell you what, including mine, because I do not own personally one, although I own most of the cars here. I mean, it's not like personal one, if you know what I mean, boys. can take a closer look at the trunk. The seals are all original, which is good. And of course it is original. It doesn't have any accident. It's been kept in a great place and without any issues at all. Another thing to point out, everybody, R34 GTRs, including R32 and 33s, the dumpers, this one actually goes out of work over time. But yeah, this one actually moves without any issues, and I have seen many GTR 34s, so as 32s as well, that they don't hold the car like this because of course this dumper is out of work. For other cars, not this car of course particularly. You can take a look. Here's the spare parts on the car. I can pull up the carpet. All the bolts are in the right place, which is good, and a lot of cars actually miss these bolts as well, R34s. Now battery is located here, as you guys can see, and let me take off the carpet to show you guys a little bit about the spare tire compartment here, which is pretty clean, and I'm not going to take time to actually take off everything, but this is pretty much it, boys. And it's a little bit cold honestly outside, me trying to record this video because I'm not dressed quite warm enough for the weather in Japan at the moment. March 31st 2019, I'm taking this video on. So everybody, tell me, what do you think? Accident free, rust free, very clean Nissan Skyline GTR 34 VSPEC to NUR in prestige Bayside blue color. 17,000 kilometer only mileage, genuine mileage as well. How much do you think it's worth it? Give it a think. By then, I actually tell you a little bit about the NURs, their addition and upgrades the car that you guys can see from here. As most of you understand, GTR 34 standard models came with a cluster that has the speedometer, the mileage up to 180 kilometers an hour. Of course, GTR 34s run much more faster than that. Since it was the original factory stock, a lot of people in Japan, so as abroad, what they end up doing is they end up purchasing the Nismo 320 kilometer clusters, and they actually install on their cars. But as you can see from this cluster, this is very special for newer edition GTR 34s, is that it has got its own special cluster as well, which runs up to 300 kilometers an hour. Of course, only NURs have this cluster. And of course, although it is pretty awesome as it is, up to 300 kilometers an hour, a lot of people still, NUR owners, what they end up changing a cluster to the Nismo one, 321. Of course, some people, because they like it, because Nismo cluster comes in either black or white color, and prime example of such people would be a great fabulous friends of mine, Danny and Don from the United States. Actually, Danny, hey Danny, if you're watching this video, but how you doing? This is another VSPEC to NUR Bayside blue, just like yours. I'm sitting in it right now. It looks great, just like yours does. Danny, for the ones of you guys who do not know, Danny actually purchased just like this NUR Bayside blue from our shop last year, and we have had his NUR delivered to him in Vancouver, Canada. Right now his car is registered in Canada, and he is actually probably sitting behind the wheels right now and having a great time in Canada, right? Which is pretty awesome. Basically, Danny asked me to install the cluster that is a Nismo, and we actually end up changing his NUR cluster to the 320 Nismo cluster. And another example is Don. Hey Don, if you're also watching, but how you doing? I am very much excited to deliver your car to the United States actually in April 2019. By the way, guys, Don is also from the United States, and what he did is actually he ended up purchasing a Millennium J Nissan Skyline GTR 34 M-Spec NUR from our shop, and this is one of the cars that is USA import legal under show and display. And Don, which made me so happy with these news, is that got approval from the both EPA and NHTSA to import his car under show and display regulations, and we are actually shipping out his car in April 2019. So he is making a history, and I'm super happy to be part of that history, because he is the first guy in the United States to import 2002 M-Spec NUR to the United States, one of the probably the first NUR arriving to the United States from Japan under show and display regulations. And I'm super excited about that process, and I'm so happy for being part of that process as well. But again, Don as well, coming back to the topic of a cluster, requested to change his newer cluster to 320 Nismo cluster, which we end up doing it, and we have installed beautiful looking, of course, Nismo cluster to his car, and we are shipping out his car actually very soon with that cluster as well. Those people, Don and Danny, are the prime examples of people, even with the newer cluster, end up basically changing to Nismo cluster once. Now, another thing to point out, if you look at the seats as well, the standard model GTR 34s came with this, you know, light silverish seats. Of course, starting from the VSPEC 2s and VSPEC 2 NURs, they come in the seats that are, of course, blackish, as you can see here, like that. And of course, newer editions, and VSPEC 2 in particular has got all the upgrades that the VSPEC 2 had in the first place. So this is another thing. A lot of people actually prefer this black seat so much more than the regular standard white, like silver seats, and this is one of the other examples of that as well. Did you give a think about the price of a car? What do you think, guys? Okay, now I tell you what we are retailing this car for. We are asking for this particular car 16,800,000 Japanese yen. How much is that equal to? That is equal to maybe 152,000 US dollars or so, 154,000 US dollars or so. And of course, some people say, hey, this is a lot of money, right? But some people say that's a fabulous price, and me being actually in this market, what we are asking is definitely worth the price of the car. Again, just like as I said, only maybe 2 of them available for sale, base-side blue VSPEC 2 NURs right now in Japan. They are so rare. People who have them, they never want to sell them. They want to keep it for their generations, for their sons and for their grandsons. And this is Don actually tells me that he's going to keep his car for his son and for his for the generations past. They're going to keep the car forever, and there are a lot of people like that even in Japan. So as many other parts of the world, they don't want to sell it, and therefore this cars, it's very rare to be able to find cars like that for sale. But at the moment, I was just looking up earlier, there are 2 VSPEC 2 NUR base-side blues available for sale, which is first one, I'm sitting in it in Japan, and the other one is actually located in Tokyo, and the other one has got 3 times higher mileage than ours, and it's not as clean as ours, and they are asking higher price than 16,800,000 Japanese yen. Now, that is the comparison I'm telling you, and based on that comparison as well, what I'm saying is that this is definitely worth the value that we are asking for. And one of the reasons why our car is better but still cheaper is, of course, we got this car from one of our clients, and we were able to get it at a good price, and we are a shop, we try to be competitive in our market, meaning that we try to offer better cars at a better price. And that's one of the reasons that this car actually looks very clean, and we are offering it at the right price. But you tell me, actually, you are the person I mean, most of you of course are interested in cars like that, but from your eyes, what do you think this car is worth it? I would love to hear your comments and read your comments. And how much do you think the actual value of a car? If you have that money, would you pay so much for this car? You let me know. And if any one of you, among you guys as well, if you are interested in the market for a VSPEC 2 newer base-side blue car like that, or if you're interested in this car, please do hit me up in my contacts below this video, and I'll be more than happy to provide you extra information and hook you up with the car. And if you are from anywhere in the world, whether it be it Canada or Australia or anywhere, actually, of course, we at our shop take care of all the export and delivery of the car to any part of the world. But again, if you are from the United States, this particular car is not USA import legal, and it is not eligible to be imported to the United States on show and display either. So there are ways where you can import it to Canada and store it, or you can store it in Japan, or with the Canadian plate you can drive to the United States up to 1 year every time you cross the border and stuff like that. But it's a different topic, which I'm not going to get into the details. All right, guys, well, thank you for taking your time to watch this video. And I look forward to see your comments below here, and yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you are in the market for a Japanese sports car, any type, even the ones that we don't sell here, please hit me up and I'll be more than happy to hook you up with one and have the car delivered to you safe and secure at any part of the world. So everyone, have a lovely day, and thank you always for being such a precious followers and big part of our business and family, Garage Defend family here in Japan. Have a lovely day, everybody.